Any comments? Amanda. Yes, this is just on Facebook Live today. The reason being is that I've got last minute daddy daycare today. So I literally just on my mobile, so I don't have time. I can't like do the Zoom and the YouTube Live and all that sort of stuff. So it's just Facebook Live today. So hey, I've seen all the comments come through, so thank you. Right, I think, yeah, 12:02, let's crack on. So earlier this week I did a live session called something like shitcoins and the world's worst shitcoin, etc. So what I would highly recommend is that you go to my YouTube channel, Siam Kid in YouTube, and find the playlist of Wealth Generation Social Chats. And basically every live session I do every day is on that playlist. And I'd highly recommend watching that shitcoin video, because probably one of the most important lessons that I can teach you is on that video. And so I thought I would just very quickly recap what I went through on that video, because it's absolutely pivotal. So so I got the cat trying to get in. No, she can stay outside for the moment. She's just going to be meowing. Yeah, okay, so in that video, what I was basically trying to get across is what happened in Argentina and Venezuela recently. So if you go back to 1990, in Argentina, 1 peso equaled $1, okay? Pretty strong currency rate, 1 peso per dollar, which is great. And then in the space of no time at all, it went to 3 pesos equals $1. And then it just became a slippery spiral into just death, basically, into currency death. And then it kept going up and up and up and up until sort of like 2010, it was like 25 pesos per dollar. And to the point, and it's accelerating to the point now, right now, it's about 95 pesos to the dollar. And so if you were someone that was living in Venezuela, Argentina, or any of these countries that has experienced basically the government trashing their currency down the toilet, you've become poorer on a monumental scale. So, and every single time that your currency fades away against another currency like that, you are losing purchasing power, you're losing wealth. So for example, when the peso went from $1 peso to 3 pesos equaling $1, like if you were a saver, which is what most people do, you were absolutely destroyed. And this is why I cannot stress enough how bad advice it is if you listen to what the baby boomers tell you. So the typical baby boomer financial advice is, work hard, save money, save. And literally every baby boomer I know doesn't really invest. It's weird, they're not really an investing demographic to a degree. Mind you, I could argue against that. But most baby boomers that I know don't invest, they're simply savers. Save, and they never invest. And when you're in a world where currency dilution is ravaged, which we are in right now, you're getting slaughtered. But most people don't notice this because it takes roughly 5 to 10 years to see the real effects. Like the pound is being slaughtered right now, yet no one is aware of it. No one gives it a hoot. And you can't really notice it because it takes time. That's what makes it all insidious. So what I was basically saying in that previous video is that, let's say you were transported back in time to, say, even 2010, okay? So it's at the height of, well, not the height, the Argentinian peso is getting absolutely destroyed. And let's say you went back in time and you had hindsight. So you knew everything that was going to happen and everything that you now know. What would you do if you were Pablo and Paula that lived in Argentina? I don't know what the female version of Pablo is, but let's call it Paula. So what would you do? Knowing that the peso is just going to completely slide against the US dollar. Well, what you should do, the way that you can capitalize on this, is that you borrow up the yin-yang in pesos. So you literally leverage yourself up in debt. as much as you can in the peso, because debt is nominal, and that's a really crucial thing to understand. If you borrow 100,000, like if I was to borrow money from you, if I borrowed £100,000 from you at say 10% APR, that is the debt. It's nominal. So whatever happens in the world, I still owe you 100 grand plus interest. Now let's say I borrowed the 100 grand from you, and the currency slides. Let's say the Bank of England just goes nuts and starts printing like in Venezuela, Argentina, Soviet Union, all these places. Well, and let's say due to real inflation then kicking in, instead of the average wage going from £10 an hour, it's now £1,000 an hour. Guess what? I'm going to be able to pay off that debt really freaking fast. I mean, this is what happened in Zimbabwe. Those that have switched on and they saw that the hyperinflation was kicking in, they was like, sweet, I'm going to borrow in Zimbabwe dollars and then convert out of it. So yeah, so going back to the Pablo Paulo example, you simply borrow as many pesos as you can, knowing that inflation is going to kick in and you're going to be able to pay it off really easily. I would then, if you had a business, you would do forward financing. So you try and get as much of the money up front from sales. Don't have a monthly thing, just get the full whack up front at a discount perhaps. But the key thing here is that you need to convert those pesos into dollars. And then when you get the dollars, the next step, so you've done very well so far converting to dollars, because now you're in, the dollar's stable, relatively speaking, compared to the peso, so you're stable. But the next thing you have to do is get your dollars offshore, because what's happened over the years is that the Argentinian government have gone, we see all these dollars in your Argentinian bank account. We're just going to commandeer that, and we'll just take those dollars and we'll give you the current exchange rate, and so you're back to square one. In fact, it's even worse, because what you've done is you've just borrowed up the yin yang in pesos. You thought you've converted the dollars, but then you're suddenly back into the peso. So yeah, so in essence, you need to borrow up the yin yang, you need to convert those pesos into dollars, then you need to get those dollars out of the freaking country into an offshore bank account, somewhere where the Argentinian government or the Venezuelan government can't commandeer that. And then you're sorted. In fact, you're then hedged, and you don't actually care how bad the peso gets. In fact, if anything, you sort of hope that the peso gets worse, because then you're mitigated. In fact, you're laughing because you're sat in dollars, the peso's getting nuts, and therefore your dollars can buy you more things in Argentina than, and so that's the way you get out of that sort of rut. Now here's the catch. Here's basically the punchline. You, right now, all 44 of you listening to this right now, you are in Argentina as we speak. You're in it right now. So because the pound is inflating away, the dollar is inflating away. So what's happening to the peso is happening to the pound right now, and you just don't notice it. You can't see it because the government lies to you regarding inflation. They calculate inflation from the CPI basket or the CPI basket, and it's total hocus pocus. I mean, how can inflation be negligible when when they expanded our currency supply by 25% last year? It's nuts. So all that's happening is that all this currency that's being printed out of nowhere is being absorbed by the stock market. That's all it's doing. So you have someone that sat there in stocks going, oh, look at me, I'm really clever, I'm 30% up this year. No, you're not 30% in ROI, that's basically inflation. If you were to basically take the whole of the FTSE 100, divide it by the amount of currency, as in pound sterling, sloshing around, and including all of the extra printed stuff, you'll see that the stock market hasn't actually done anything, it's gone sideways, even though you look at the chart and it's gone top right. So so what's happening right now is we are Pablo and Paula in the UK, and so and we've got probably 2,400 years of very well recorded documentation. Like humans have recorded stuff really well over the last 2,400 years, and when you study history and you study that data, what you can see is a distinct trend that governments know nothing about economics. Literally, they don't, and they don't care because it's how it's orchestrated. someone's only in term for 4 years, maybe 8 years. And so they don't really care about the long term. So all they do is they're really good at kicking the can down the road. And that's why, I don't want to step on the dog, that's why this stuff happens. And so one thing you can bet your bottom dollar on is that the currency is going to continue being printed away. So let's move this example today to where we are now in the UK. I'm guessing most people here in the UK. So what you need to do, and this is assuming that you agree with me that the pound is just going to be completely trashed like it is being. Just look at the chart of money, the M2 money supply. It's nuts. So you need to borrow as much money in pound sterling as you possibly can. Just borrow. Hell, I will take any amount of lending and I'll pay 10% a year. It doesn't bother me. I will borrow whatever. So you need to borrow sterling. What you then need to do is you need to convert sterling into an asset or something which is disinflationary or deflationary in terms of currency supply compared to the pound sterling. So I don't know what it looks like on your, I don't know how the camera flips this, but if the sterling is being printed like this, if you then take those sterlings and put it into something which is even printed, is still going up in terms of supply, but not as fast, you're then making a lovely arbitrage between the two. Or, even better, if you put it into an asset or something which is flat in terms of currency supply, then guess what? You're making a bigger arbitrage between the two. And even better, the creme de la creme is if you... That's close. Is if you take your pounds and you convert it into something which is disinflationary or deflationary in comparison to the sterling, and then you're making a massive arbitrage between the two. I'm going to have to go as soon as he wakes up. So you've borrowed loads of sterling, you now need to convert it into something which is disinflationary or deflationary in comparison to the dollar or sterling. What is that? Bitcoin. That is it. That is the answer. You need to convert it into Bitcoin. And then, don't forget, you need to store it safely. So you then need to put it into your own wallet. And that is the equivalent of sending your dollars offshore. The second you put your Bitcoin into your own wallet that you then have personal monetary sovereignty. So that way, they can't touch you. And I promise you, this is what's going to happen. When the UK finally gives in to crypto, and they will, because there'll be so much global pressure that the UK government and the FCA will go, oh my god, I'm sorry, we will allow crypto derivatives, we will allow crypto, blah blah blah. When that happens and the UK rolls over like a silly dog, what you'll see is that every bank will go, oh, guess what, folks, we now sell crypto. So even Barclays Bank, which has been really anti-crypto, and HSBC, even worse, they'll go, oh yeah, you can buy crypto through us, through your online banking, and we will store your crypto for you. Now when that happens, you need to do that to them. You need to be like, you need to see through that BS and just go, no, and don't buy. So first of all, don't buy any crypto via a bank, because you know they're tracking everything you do. And then even worse, don't buy, let them store the crypto for you. That's no different than converting your pesos into the dollar and then depositing it into the Bank of Argentina. It's like silly, that's foolish. So you need to borrow the pounds, convert it into Bitcoin, put it into your own wallet, then you have personal monetary sovereignty. And then you don't care what happens to the pound. You don't care. You're completely hedged. And as I said, once you've done that and you're completely mitigated, you sort of actually hope that they continue to trash the dollar or the pound, because you get richer. Because guess what happens? When they print more money, or not money, it's not money, it's currency. When they print more pounds or dollars, what's it going to do to assets? It's going to inflate assets like the stock market, crypto, etc. I mean, put it this way, it took 12 years for Bitcoin to get to $1 trillion market cap. It's the fastest thing in history that's got to $1 trillion market cap. 12 years. Technically 11 and a half years, but let's call it 12. A lot of newspapers are calling it 12 years, but they're wrong. So 11 and a half years roughly. Well, how long do you think it's going to take for crypto, so for Bitcoin to go from $1 trillion market cap to $2 trillion market cap? I reckon a year. I reckon it's going to be 12 years, then 1 year, then it'll probably be 6 months from $2 trillion to $3 trillion, and then it'll be something like a month, and you'll see something, Bitcoin will go from like $5 trillion to $10 trillion in a month. Like, at some point, it's going to get crazy like that. And guess what? The pound and dollar is going to keep on printing. And as long as you have personal monetary sovereignty, you are laughing. So I guess that's the big point I wanted to make. And it's so simple when you look at it, but you just need to look at things like you're an alien visiting Earth and looking at everything objectively, without any emotions or biases or etc. And it's pure, it's mathematics, it's maths, it's pure maths. You get out of a highly inflating currency and put it into a deflating one. Simple. And then so I'm just going to go through the comments. I'm not sure how long he's going to stay asleep for. So Steve Woody, he says, what's it going to cost for you to hold me like that? Right, let's see what questions there are. RV, thank you for posting the link to that video, because I go into more depth of why I came to that conclusion, etc. Lewis, okay, here's the first question. He said, hey Simon, I got into cryptos very late, I know. I like your Kryptonian portfolio idea. Just wondering, what is the exit plan? What is a good time to move from alts back to Bitcoin? Thanks so much for all your stuff. That's a great question. So, for those that have watched my Kryptonian portfolio thing, you'll see that I don't have any Bitcoin. I hark on about Bitcoin a lot, but the thing is, although I want as much Bitcoin as I can rustle up, I don't actually own any Bitcoin because I'm in alts, and alts are moving faster than in comparison to Bitcoin. So that's why I'm in alts right now. It's basically an altcoin is anything other than Bitcoin really. So that's why I'm in alts. They're racing up against Bitcoin, so I'm getting more Bitcoin value. And then around December, January time, when the stock to flow model sort of indicates a bit of a cooling off, then I'll flop over into Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is actually a leading indicator of the alt high. So if you look at the last three peaks, the last three bull cycles, according to stock to flow, Bitcoin has always rallied and peaked in December. Literally, just look at it on the chart. Nearly every peak is in December. And then what happens is alts peak a month later. So if you were to use hindsight, which again, from a data sample set, it's a very low data sample, but the idea is to wait until Bitcoin starts correcting. It won't crash anymore, simply because of the tsunami of cash flowing into this market. When it starts to cool off a little bit and consolidate, then simply wait a little bit, maybe not even wait, just go, okay, then flop over from alts into Bitcoin. And then you'll get even more Bitcoin for your money. And then you just need to not sell. You need to park that Bitcoin in a wallet, make sure it's safe, make sure you know what you're doing by then. And then you wait. And here's the thing, my exit plan is to not sell your crypto. So there's two reasons for that. One reason, the moment you sell back into fiat, you've got a tax event there. Well, in fact, you've got a tax event no matter what you do. Like if you flop from, say, Ether into Bitcoin, that's a taxable event. But what I mean by it is that you can offset a big taxable event. Like if I was to sell all my crypto, I'd then be lumped with a 19% corporation tax for the cryptos that are within the business, and for me personally it will be 20% capital gains tax. So the thing to do is don't sell. Once you've flopped over into Bitcoin, just sit there and hold it until the next bull cycle, which is in 2025, which should then peak again in 2026, because by 2026 we should be seeing roughly $1 million per Bitcoin. So that is the bigger picture there. You need to basically use this current bull cycle to amass as much Bitcoin value as possible, so that for the bull cycle of 2025 and 2026, each Bitcoin is worth $1 million. I mean, if someone said, like, here's here's something which is $50,000 now, and it's highly likely to be $1 million in 4 years' time. What would you do? You'd do whatever you can to get as many of those things. Well, that is freaking Bitcoin for you. And then if you need cash, you simply borrow off of it. So you can stump up some of your Bitcoin and get a cash loan. So if I ever wanted if I needed cash from it, then I'll simply get a cash. Then I'll get a crypto loan. So, but that's that. What else is going to talk about? Selling. There's one other thing that I forgot about. I can't remember. It'll come to me. Oh yeah, Bitcoin as a bank. That's the other thing that I think a lot of people get confused. Bitcoin is a cyber bank for the world. It's literally a bank in cyberspace. So the second you have Bitcoin and you have your own wallet, Bitcoin in your own wallet, that is you having a bank account in cyberspace. So it's a borderless, censorship-resistant bank. That's basically what it is. And so you can't look at Bitcoin like you do with some alts. So for example, if I look at Dogecoin, the last time I checked it, it was like 50 cents and $64 billion market cap, which is just insane. $64 billion into a crypto that is absolutely useless to a degree, and has probably the worst tokenomics of any crypto out there. It's massively overinflated, overvalued, etc. But when you look at Bitcoin, it's a bit different. Yeah, it's like if I was a bank. Don't look at me. Let's look at Revolut. Okay, Revolut is not a bank. It's like a cash card type thing. But let's say Revolut has £100 million of assets under management. But because it's got really good customer service, let's say it starts growing massively, and in a few years' time, it's now got £1 billion of assets under management. Now, would you say Revolut is then overvalued? No, you wouldn't, because it's a business itself, but it's just got more money that it's looking after. It doesn't mean it's overvalued. It's just simply it's attracting more money because of its good customer service, yada yada yada. Bitcoin is the same thing. So whether Bitcoin has $1 trillion market cap or 10 trillion or 100 trillion, it doesn't mean it's overvalued. It's simply a bank, a cyberspace bank. So it just means it's a bank that's got more money in it. And so this is why I do see Bitcoin itself having well over $10 trillion market cap in a relatively short period of time, as in by over the next 5 or 10 years. So that was the other thing I just forgot. So that's that question. Sukdeep, would you say gold and silver is a good asset? Oh, this is a sore topic for me. So I've always been a massive gold and silver fan. I mean, hell, I became a bullion dealer because I loved gold and silver that much. But the thing is, when you look at all the pros and cons of gold and silver, Bitcoin has all of the pros and very few of the cons. And although I've made an alright thing. So I guess with all my silver, I've sold a whole bunch of silver recently, and I've made roughly 350 to 400% ROI with my silver exit. But that's over, I don't know if you look at the average holdings, probably over 7 years. So the ROI, when you average it over 7 years, is alright. It's better than normal, but it's nothing spectacular. So really, I think gold and silver will always be there, but I think it's now going to be even less relevant and significant than it used to. So yeah, it's hard because I've loved gold and silver for well over a decade. But now I'm simply all the benefits that Bitcoin has. I mean, all the benefits are in Bitcoin and not many of the cons. Reese, BNB is deflationary due to the coin burns. Yes, I agree. But here's the thing with BNB. I've got a big holding in Binance Coin, and the fact that they're doing like everything from NFTs to DEXs to sexes, centralized exchanges, CEX sexes. So they're doing a lot, but the thing is, Binance Smart Chain is there for really trader user experience, really. It's not there to do a lot of the things in the world that crypto needs. So do you think a government is going to put their voting system on the Binance Smart Chain? Nah, not going to happen. Do you think a government is going to put their identification services on Binance Smart Chain? Nah. Or any of the sort of official stuff that really a lot of third world countries need? No. They're going to go to a completely decentralized crypto like Cardano. Cardano is perfect for the world, especially Africa. And I think from the last time I checked, Africa is really buying into Cardano because it's cheap, it's fast, it's the only peer-reviewed crypto on the planet. Sorry, bad hair day today. But yeah, so Binance is good, and I think, I've got a big holding in Binance, so I think it'll still go up. I think whatever market cap Ethereum has right now, Binance will easily have that. And Ethereum has huge problems. Even though I'm really bullish on Ethereum, it has huge problems. Gas fees, just ridiculous. Scaling issues. Ethereum has so many problems, and it's unlikely to be sorted out anytime soon, not within the next 18 months at least. And so the other contenders are just going to gobble up that market share. Cardano, Polkadot, Kusama, although Kusama's on Polkadot, or based on Polkadot, Solana. Yeah. Steve says, what if your wallet on Binance and company folds? Yeah, the thing is, you need to do things properly. You need to have your own wallet, not on an exchange. So you have like a cold wallet, like a paper wallet, etc. Is there a preferred wallet, or should you diversify wallets? I see Crypto.com offers rewards like Netflix, blah blah blah. Ideally, if you're going to do things properly, cold store them. So you have a cold wallet, and you simply just record the private key and the public address. So yeah, there's lots in terms of this. It depends. I don't know if on my YouTube channel there is a playlist called Crypto Investing Course. There's like 60 videos there, and there are literally videos of me showing you how to create a Bitcoin wallet. So have a look at that. Cameron, when we stake coins such as ADA and ETH, and then the price continues to rise, do the staked coins not increase until the staking period is expired? Yeah, you still get the PAG, the potential appreciation growth. So for example, if you take my Binance, I'm getting 16.49% yield from staking my Binance coin, and I think I'm getting something like 3 Binance a month at the moment, which is cool, because don't forget I got into Binance at $38. It's now $650, and so yeah, my staking, I'm getting about 3 Binance a month. Now, what is the current price? $650. So I'm probably, let's call it £600. So my 3 Binance is like £1,800 a month just from my staking. Now I could cash that in if I wanted, but I just add it back into the pot. So yeah. Steve said, on Binance we can stake coins. Do you think it's a good idea to lock money up into staking, or should we focus on other methods? It depends if you're a trader or not. So I think for 99% of people listening to this, you should stake them and just get the extra, couple of coins or whatever and get that yield. But for me, I've come to the conclusion now that I prefer to have my coins ready and available so I can do my side steps. So for example, take Nano. I've got a whole bunch of Nano, and I've done two side steps with Nano literally in 2 days. So I did one last night, and the previous night I did a little side step. So what I mean by side step is where the market massively zooms, I sell at the top, I wait for it to pull back roughly 50% of that big move, and then I buy back in. So I don't have much Nano. It's one of my sort of smart tracker coins, but I started off with 500 Nano, and then through these 2 side steps I've now got 628 Nano. So that's like a 25% uplift in coins without adding extra income. So I haven't added extra money to that, but I've got 25% more tokens just from doing the side steps. Now, there have been times where I've wanted to do a side step, like with Binance. I saw Binance zooming up and I wanted to take profits, but I couldn't because it was locked, because I was staking it and I couldn't get it out. So, and I lost out on a lot of it, a lot more coins there. So, but yeah, that's just me. Alexander, your cat is singing so nicely. He's probably translating your speech into cat language. Coco is a douchebag. Definitely not. Yeah, Coco's trying to get in. She's outside the window right now. Alexander, question. I saw some coins with Binance. Should we worry about Binance late news about JD and IRS investigation? Haven't heard about that. I wouldn't worry too much. It's almost a too big to fail organisation these days. But still, yeah, ideally you don't want to leave any coins on an exchange because you're then running the risk of an exchange getting hacked or closing down. Mihaita? I hope that's how you say your name. So are we making transitions from palpable assets to virtual ones? Well, what do you mean by palpable assets? What are you considering a palpable asset? Because like the pound and the dollar is not a palpable asset. It's not even an asset. It's a ice cube in the Sahara Desert. It's melting right in front of you. Virtual assets also, I wouldn't sniff at virtual assets. So in answer, yes, Bitcoin is a virtual asset, you can say. So yeah, I would say yes. But I feel there's some follow-up questions there. I could talk around that for a while, but I want to get through this. Carmel, are you reducing your Ether holding, and what will happen when Ether 2.0 comes out? I'm not. Actually, I've halved my Ether holding, and I redistributed it into ADA, DOT, Link, Solana. I think that, yeah. I think the reason being is that the Ether's rallied hard. I mean, it's got like, I don't know, $500 billion market cap, etc. So, and although I see a wall of money rushing into Ethereum, the potential gains now are not as much as there are as you could get in some of the other ones. Like for example, if it is $500 billion market cap right now, in order for ADA to double, you need another $500 billion flowing into ADA. Whereas if you take a lower one like Polkadot, which the last time I checked was like $37 billion, in order for Polkadot to double, you just need another $37 billion going into it, which I know it sounds a lot, but in crypto speak it's not that much. And so if there's a whole bunch of money, let's say there's $1 trillion about to flow into the smart contract platform race, well, where's it going to go? Well, $1 trillion, yeah. Ethereum will probably soak up half of it. So another so you can see Ethereum doubling, but then you've got $500 billion that's going to be split between Cardano, Polkadot, Solana, Binance Smart Chain to a degree. And even if you did them equally, that's another $250 billion each, or $100 billion each, depending on what the split is. And then you'll see much higher growth in the others. So I'm massively into Cardano and Polkadot. They're the two game changers, really. So that's that. Are you considering hoovering up some eco-friendly cryptos? Ripple looks to be the most energy efficient. Doge is actually more energy efficient than Ripple. Cardano is way more efficient. If you look at all the proper cryptos out there, Cardano is actually the most efficient, I think, the last time I checked. Ripple has so many problems, and it's not centralized. It's not decentralized. So, ooh, what's going on here? Don't know what happened to the camera. I must have pressed something. What are your thoughts on Neo currently? I'm really bullish. Neo 3.0 is coming out soon. Just watch Neo rally hard along with gas. I've got a lot of gas. So gas is the jewel token for Neo. Okay, Cameron, thanks. So when we see dips in the market and all my money's invested in coins, can I benefit from simply transferring from one coin into another that's dipped further, as opposed to adding more money into my business Binance account? Yeah, you can. That's what I do. Watch, again, in my crypto playlist, there's one, I did a crypto tutorial for beginners. I go through side steps in that video. So yeah. Steve, I think given the way people are moving towards sustainability and the recent Elon news, green crypto is a great punt. Yeah, I agree. I got into Energy Web Token in February time. I think that's bullish. But yeah, Elon is being a very naughty boy with what he's doing. He's not an idiot. This is a meticulated, premeditated move that he's just done. saying, and just watch this space. I think I know Elon more than anyone else does, simply because I've read every tweet he's done, every interview he's done, every video he's put out, every article he's ever written. Like, I've assimilated him virtually, if that makes sense. And knowing, some of the shenanigans he's done before, like he has manipulated the markets many times before, and I've called it. I've called it, at least the 3 last times he's moved the market, being naughty. I said what's going to happen, and it happened. And so, watch this space. I reckon Elon's going to adopt another crypto, possibly Cardano, possibly Doge. Looking likely, maybe Doge actually. And I think he's going to release a massive Bitcoin mining project. I've got a sneaky suspicion. Oh dear God, there's a delivery man here, and the dog's going to go scream. In fact, please hold 1 second. I'm going to have to hide the dog. She'll scream. Fix. I shit you not, every live session we have a freaking delivery. Amazon, hey. So, Alexander, question about sidestepping. Oh yeah, just look out for a Bitcoin mining operation in Hawaii that's connected to Elon and Larry Ellison. So, Alexander, question about sidestepping. What charts are you checking for sidestepping? Oh yeah, I only look at the daily chart, not the lower time frames. How do you know that the price has reached the top and will reverse? So typically I look for a coin that's rallied over 30% within a day. And if you look at the bar, it'll be a big fat green bar on TradingView, and then just get out of the top. You'll miss some of them, but you can get TradingView to send you an alert. So that's what I'm going to share with my students. Right, what's going on here? Yeah. So hopefully that makes sense. Yeah. Oh wow, I can actually see Ellie, my wife, watching this. This is probably the first live session she's ever seen. Hey honey. She's probably just making sure I'm looking after Romy properly. So, okay, a couple of questions that popped in. Just looking to cold wallets, it scares me to have my life savings in something physical, which is crazy when I think that I trust the hands of strangers running companies. I guess I feel that the establishments are more stable than my house, lol. You know what, it raises a really good point, because I lost probably $20,000 worth of crypto in 2017, 2018 by simply losing passwords. I had like 50 different wallets because if you do things properly, you need to get the official wallet per crypto. And so I ended up having like 50 different wallets for all the different projects I had, and it was a full-time job just remembering all of the passwords, all of the key phrases, the seed phrases, the 20 words that you have to remember, the secret keys. Like every project had a different thing. Some had 20 words, you had to know them in the right order. Some had a massively like a 48 character thingy. And yeah, I just simply lost passwords, and I lost money as a result. That's one sort of con of storing your own wealth. Give it a year and you'll see more better alternatives, sort of like a quasi self-storage, not self-storage, like a multi-sig type storage solution. Because yeah, like if you, let's say you wave a magic wand and you've got $1 million or $10 million worth of crypto, do you really want to be looking after that yourself? For me personally, I'm going to be pretty nervous because I'm not very good at storing passwords and stuff like that. So yeah, I probably will look at some. I mean, when you look at exchanges, they have custodians, multi-signature wallets. But yeah, just wait. I'll be looking for a non-bank external storage solution of some sort, something which is trustworthy. Banks are not. Cameron, thoughts on VeChain? I'm hearing a lot of partnerships in development, but the price hasn't moved much after its early bull run at the start of the year. I'm very bullish on VeChain. VET has gone nuts. Yeah, it's a good enterprise crypto. So just wait. Cryptos aren't supposed to moon like constantly all the time. This is why I like Cardano. It's like people think it's not a mooner, but it's actually grown faster than pretty much most cryptos out there. But yeah, so yeah, Cameron. Also, what about the Nano Ledger cold storage device? Purchased this recently, but not yet used it. I've got one. I've never used it. I don't trust hardware wallets simply because anything hardware that comes within my proximity breaks. I swear sometimes I've got like an EMP field around me, and I just break computers just by being in the same room. And also, hardware stuff, you can break it, you can get it wet, you can lose it, it can be stolen. Yeah, I don't like the hardware wallet solution. And at the end of the day, the best security, which I can't do anymore, is tell no one that you own crypto. Just be the grey person. Be someone, if someone says, oh, didn't you buy crypto in 2021 or 2017 or whatever, just say, oh yeah, I put like a tenner in and that tenner's now 500 quid. Just play it down massively. No one's going to try and hack you, whereas I'm sort of screwed in that sense. So yeah, just be the grey man. Don't let anyone know you got crypto. And if they do know you got crypto, just say you sold it, at a bad time or, yeah, whatever. So I think I'm going to call it a day there. So I'm just going to reiterate the point I made today. We are no different than the people sat in Argentina or Venezuela. Our currency is being printed into oblivion. The value of our currency is being thrown down the toilet. And we won't notice it over the next, or you just won't notice it because it happens over a 5, 10, 20 year period. And then you'll realise you work all your life really, really hard and your personal wealth is going nowhere. And the reason being is that even though you're doing well in business or your job, is because the money that you're earning, i.e. pound sterling, is not what won't buy you what it's worth. Go into the shop and buy a freaking Freddo. Seriously, it's like 35 pence and it's like that big now. So the solution is you need to borrow in pound sterling. I'm imagining that everyone here is UK based. So borrow as many pounds as you can because debt is nominal. Convert the pounds into Bitcoin, put it into a wallet, sit tight, come back in 5 years, and then send me a fiver when you've made your millions. So yeah, gotta love you and leave you. He's probably going to wake up soon. And I need to get him lunch, I think. Yeah, I need to get him lunch. Right, see ya. Bye.